Check this out.
Thanks, Green. About the student loans, how can the country afford such a massive handout?
Check this out.
Yeah, well, Ambassador Rice said that she's happy to have that discussion. I'm happy to have this discussion as well. Look, if you look at what this president has done, if you look at the end of this coming end of the fiscal year,
okay,
$1.7 trillion that we have brought down the deficit. That matters. That matters. And if you look at the Inflation Reduction Act, it's going to add another $300 billion. It's going to bring down the deficit again.
Oh, dude, that's crazy.
And you might spend $300 to $900 billion extra. So you can do that and not
but here's the thing.
deficit.
Here's the thing. What we are trying to do here, we are doing this responsibly. You heard directly from the president. This is something that is going to be important for middle-class Americans.
What the hell are you talking about?
When you think about 90% of the folks who are going to actually benefit from this are making $75,000 or less, and you think about what Republicans did just a couple of years ago, they signed off on a $2 trillion tax cut for the wealthy.
Why? Why?
And did not provide any way to pay for that. And
for
that,
this?
again, here's what we have done. Here's
But you're talking
here's
a lot about how much it might cost, it might not cost. Who is paying for this?
what we are saying is the work that this administration has done, the work that the Democrats in Congress has done, and is actually there, and you see that the 1.7 trillion deficit deduction that you see is going to benefit us in being able to do something for the middle class,
I understand,
to
but
do
you can't
something for the middle class.
But
Oh, you better be joking.
when you
This
forgive-
is about doing something for people who make less than $125,000, $1.7 trillion. That's what we've been able to do.
But when you forgive debt, you're not just disappearing debt. So
But-
who is paying for
but-
this?
Just answer the damn questions.
And then I'll give you the second part. We lifted the pause, right? We're going to lift the pause at the end of this year, which is going to matter, right? Which is going to offset a lot of what we're doing as well. When you think about the $4 billion that's going to go back
What?
into as revenue back into this process of folks paying right their college tuition, that matters as well. So we are doing this in a smart way. We are doing this in a way that's going to be effective.
Okay.
We are doing in this a way that keeps to the president's promise on giving people who need some breathing room,
But
who
somebody's
need some
paying
breathing
for
room.
it. Who?
I just laid out for you. No, Peter, I just laid out for you how we're seeing this process and why
Is it
this
wealthy
matters.
Americans? Is it
Shut up, bro, shut up, bro.
corporations? Who
Again,
is
I
paying?
just laid out,
Somebody's gotta
I just laid out because of the work that we have done in the economy, because of the American Rescue Plan, because of the Inflation Reduction Act, and because all of this work that this president has done has brought down our deficit by $1.7 trillion.
Are you sure about that?
Unlike what Republicans did when they added to our deficit $2 trillion and did not care at all or thought about how this was going to be paid for, they did not actually put in a process or think about how we're going to do this in a smart way. This is not how this administration is doing it. Again, we are happy to continue to have this conversation, but I'm going to move around.
A few moments later.
This letter in part says, I beg you, President Biden, stop them from entering Rafah, without getting into his potential reaction to that. Does the White House believe that Israel entering Rafah is something that President Biden can stop?
Good question.
We're having conversations, important conversations. The first one happened virtually, and actually last week when the Israeli foreign minister was here. Obviously, we had a conversation. Jake Sullivan, Secretary Austin,
Dude.
and others had conversations, and that involved the Rafah operations, or Rafah more broadly. And so it started then. There was a virtual conversation on Monday, and it's going to continue. our hope that we can get to a place where we are indeed protecting innocent civilian lives.
My thoughts exactly.
In Rafah, you've heard my colleagues talk about there's more than 1 million Palestinians there who sought refuge, who are there seeking refuge. And so we want to make sure that their lives are protected. We know that there are Hamas operators there in Rafah, and so we want to make sure that Israel is able to do what it needs to do in getting those operators.
Yes, exactly.
But it is important, Hamas operators to be more exact, but it is important that we protect those civilian lives. We protect those lives. So those conversations are happening. We're hoping to see, we're expecting, I shouldn't say hoping, expecting that it'll happen in person next week, and that's what we're going to work towards.
Just on the president's visit to Baltimore on Friday, do you know if he is going to the actual site of the collapsed bridge, and would he be willing to meet with family members of the workers that were killed?
So I know there's a lot of interest in the president's trip on Friday. The president obviously is very much looking forward to going to Baltimore, being there for the people of Baltimore.
Okay.
You heard him say he's going to be there for as long as it takes to make sure that we make them whole again. We'll have more to share on what that day, what Friday is going to look like in the upcoming day or so. Okay.
Thanks, Green. So what is the accountability that the U.S. wants to see here?
That's a good question.
Well, let's the ongoing investigation happen. We want to make sure, the president said this, swift. We want it to be swift. We want it to be lead to accountability. We want it to be comprehensive and to make it public.
How's that working out for you?
And so I'm not going to get ahead of that. Want to see what the Israeli government says when they do this investigation. Just want to be really mindful about
So
that.
you're not asking for anything specifically to take place?
We want to see the investigation.
Okay.
What is that supposed to mean?
Changes, can you detail what changes that the U.S. would like to see Israel make as a result, and what even makes you think that as a result of these recent deaths that they would make changes when they haven't so far?
And I kind of said this earlier, moments ago, we are going to continue to have those tough conversations.
Oh, okay. I see what you did there.
With our Israeli counterparts. We're going to continue to make very clear that we have to protect innocent civilian lives. That is something that we want to make sure is a priority as Israel is moving forward with their
Stop it. Get some help.
their operation against Hamas, a terrorist organization. We understand the importance of them doing that, but we want to also make sure that innocent civilians' lives are protected. And folks who are out there, brave folks, brave people who are out there providing that humanitarian aid. We want to make sure that their lives are protected, those lives are protected. We're going to have those tough conversations as we have been. And so this is part of it, right? This is part of diplomacy. This is part of having honest, real, frank conversations.